Yo, it's your host Spanks, Enough is Normal podcast. Back at you with another episode, man. We at like episode 14 right now, man. I'm excited. This right here, this Mike, I Googled him. I'm gonna get right to it. I Googled him. I knew this man most of my life. I had to type his name on Google. I felt like, I was over preparing, but then I'm like, damn, you realize how much you'll learn about a guy by just Google. When you're Googleable, that's a different level of energy. Like I had to Google this guy. And then I just looked at his catalog. We're gonna get into it as far as what he does and all that, but it was like, he done added more legends to the list of legends he already worked with. That's special to me. So, I consider him he's mature. He's not, he's not with that gang shit. It's right here, man. Some of you guys that's at a certain age, I gotta retire the word gang. It's man. Be baby. We don't need no more members. I got about 2-3 more years. I'm using that word and it's over. I'm gonna be With that being said, Mike B, ladies and gentlemen, man, we shake your hand. How you doing, baby?
I'm blessed, bro. You already know.
Fashion rebel, cultural icon for our community, Greenburgh, New York. And actually, what's so crazy? Even when I Googled him, I noticed like where it said where he was from, it said Greenburgh, New York. When you Google a lot of these guys, it's some of the areas that y'all be putting down where y'all from is like y'all lying on the application, man. Like for him to actively claim where he's from, it meant a lot. But let's get right into it, Mike, man. I know you personally for a long time. I studied the game tapes. I'm a student of history. Because how you gonna know where you're going if you don't know where you came from? So guys like you, your brothers, and your whole circle, your chain, that energy definitely was felt by me coming up, and I appreciate it. But where you from, man?
From Greenburgh, New York, man. Westchester.
Big Greenburgh.
914 representative.
For sure.
You know what I mean? I'm originally from the Hill.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Parkway Gardens. But, I can't
Not O-Block.
Huh?
Not O-Block.
Not
Parkway Gardens.
But up on the hill, right there on the corner of County Center in Jackson. Learn to run around at Travis Park, but I can't front. I learned to hustle right there on the block, bro.
Just like me. Because this is a big misconception. Like, one thing about us, like as far as the block go, it's a special sauce over there. I ain't gonna lie. Like, not being from over there and coming over there, you have some of the funnest times of your life. But also in our community, there's this stigma, like if you're not from the block, you don't got that sauce. And it's guys like you, guys like me that show otherwise, because I done gave the block a lot of sauce, and I done got a lot of sauce from the block. So it feel good to know like there's other guys like you that's not necessarily from the block too that carried it like that. But the policy over here, nothing's normal. We don't like to get the book and go to page 50, even though Unc might be 50 years old.
I am 50.
Okay, yeah.
I'm straight Curtis Jackson, bro.
You look good too. I look good, pause too. But how was life for you growing up as far as parents? Did you grow up in a 2-parent household?
Grew up in a 2-parent household.
That's amazing.
I was blessed. My mother and father are Jamaicans. My father's Jamaican Cuban.
Wow.
And to be honest with you, I just found that out, not too long ago. My father was breaking it down to us and how his father was a slave in the sugarcane fields in Cuba.
Wow.
During the rulings of Che Guevara and Fidel Castro. And he fled, with 2 of his homies, of course, to Jamaica and met my grandmother. And that's how I'm here,
Wow, Cuba.
But me, my brothers, and my sister, Paul, Greg, and Camille, were first generation for the family being born here in the States.
Okay, that's tough.
So
it starts with y'all.
Yeah. So I was originally born in New Rochelle.
Okay.
And then my parents took me to Jamaica when I was 1. We came back to the States because they wanted to have my brothers, my Paul and Greg are twins, for those that probably don't even know that.
Yeah.
But they wanted to have my brothers here in the States. And then we went back to JA again and did a little time and then came back to the States. By the time we left New Rochelle and JA, then that's how I popped up in Greenburgh.
Was there any specific reason why they wanted to have them in the States? Was it, the typical American dream story, we want a better life and, it's opportunity over here that, may have not been in Jamaica at the time?
Well,
or maybe you don't know.
No, To be honest with you, I don't know specifically the deets, but from what I gathered, from asking my parents, what was going on during the times, it was, of course, yes, it had a lot to do with the American dream because that's why they came to the States to begin with. And, from there, they just, wanted, not to say a better life, but, in a kind of like I don't even want to say a better upbringing, but just, I guess, just following the book of the American dream, pretty much, because it's definitely hard times in JA still to this day, you know what I mean? And it's, it is what it is.
Right. Okay. Your parents, they still living, both?
Well, I just recently lost my pops.
Rest in peace, Mr. Barnett.
April 1st was the first anniversary.
Wow.
My mom's is still around, thank God.
Bless her heart.
And we still here, bro.
That's still
Another day above ground.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Rest in peace to your pops. Good man. Definitely seen him a lot in passing. You get strong Jamaican descent. We get like Jamaicans, strong people. I know a lot of strong Jamaicans. So I heard you talk about some siblings there, the twins. You had a sister. How many siblings do you have, just on the record?
Well, I have 3. I have Paul and Greg, which are the twins.
Right.
And Camille, and me, I'm the oldest.
I was gonna ask
Camille's the baby.
Okay.
And
Big bro.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. I try to be big bro, but now, Paul and Greg, they bigger than me, taller than me, so I call them, my little big brothers.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
And Paul, especially for me coming up, like, I got a lot of memories of Paul. Like, me being young, I'm a few generations below, but I'm one of them guys, like, one of them teenagers in the area, like, I paid attention. I really studied the game tapes, and I remember these guys. Rest in peace to have Poe, the legendary dice games you guys used to have. And one thing I can say about you, you always showed us love. Yeah, AP. I remember all of these times with y'all just being on the block, different arguments y'all had, like watching, the fly guys. You was fly even then, which was late for me. It was late for you, but early for me. The leathers, the rest in peace, Cuzzy Large too. He had a leather coat that I remember. Y'all campaign was strong in our community, and we appreciate y'all for that. Now, being from Greenburgh, did you attend all of the Greenburgh schools, public school, private school?
Yeah, I definitely. Yeah, I was a Highview kid.
Okay,
you know what I mean. I was a Highview kid. Then from Highview, to be honest with you, before I went to Bailey, I was at Mount Carmel.
Okay, White Plains.
Yeah, no, right there in Elmsville.
Oh, Elmsville. Okay.
Yeah. So I went to Mount Carmel, and that didn't last too long.
Yeah,
started in September, and I was actually back in my district right after the Christmas vacation. So they was like, Mr. and Ms. Barnett, y'all gotta come get this kid real quick. So then that's when I went to Bailey. And then after Bailey, I went to Woodlands. And then after that, life just started taking a different turn, and I started attending different high schools. I went to school in Hastings, Yonkers, Ardsley. But I was still, by God's grace, able to graduate on time. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's
with Woodlands, with my class and everything. That was 90.
Now I was about to say, I was class at 90. Wow,
absolutely.
I was 1 year. I wasn't even in Lois Bronze yet.
Okay.
I was on the Summit. I was still, in Pampers. But that's dope. Did you go to college? When you say, life started hitting, take us through some of the events. Like, did you go to college? Or?
Yeah, I went to college. I went to Westchester Community College. I did a year and a half semester there.
Right.
The second half that I was there, I got into some trouble.
Right.
And, that's when things started, catching up to me between, having one foot in the streets and one foot of trying to transition into still, keeping my head in the books.
Of course.
So I got into some trouble, court of sale indictment, ended up got locked up and did some time in Valhalla.
Yeah.
And, I came home, and once I came home, it was just a different flow for me right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That just kind of opened up my eyes. I think that was like the last time that actually made me change my flow, because prior to that, it was a little bit of consistency of going in and out. You know what I mean?
One thing I know about the Greenburgh is the '90s was a wild era. Like just from what I heard, like it was a lot of money being made, a lot of activity going on, and just to go through some of the names like such as yourself. You hear about that stories about guys named Berry. Rest in peace, Cuzzy Lodge, George Brown, Vaughn, Sean Sanders. These are just some of the Greenburgh guys.
Rest in peace to AP.
AP, rest in peace, AP. Liddell. So you would know more than me. I'm just going off the top of just my recollection. But it was a lot going on in the town. And the '90s was one of them eras. I feel like y'all made it proud to be from the town. Like just to see you, a lot of those guys. But who was your circle? Coming up in Greenburgh. Who was your crew? This is for the town right here.
Well, my crew was changing as you get mature,
of course,
and you grow and you start to evolve. Originally my crew started on the hill. Like I said, I was originally from the hill, so my crew on the hill was like Dean, Scott Johnson, and Liddell. Me and Liddell was running heavy. That was like my partner in crime right there. Junior, Albert Reed, you know what I mean? Wedmark, so I was still, running with the official dishels from the beginning, and then, after I started transitioning and going down to the block, it wasn't even it wasn't even where I started hanging on the block, because it's not even just the block. Manhattan Avenue and the center did a lot of great things for my life.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And, my first introduction to hanging on the block is after school, because I was playing basketball. I used to play Young Life.
Okay.
And we used to play ball for the center.
Right.
And football. But with basketball, it would have been hard for me to go home up on the hill, and then it was a lot to walk back down to the center after school. So my introduction to the block was Mike Dimbo. Ooh. I used to go to Mike Dimbo's crib. I used to be at the Dimbos, you know what I'm saying, after school. Shout out to Mike, Lisa, Gina, you know what I'm saying? They showed me love, and so that's why I started hanging out with Mark Dean. Rest in peace to OG Rob. But that was my introduction to the block and hanging out with the Dimbos, and me and Mike would walk down to the center, when it's time for basketball practice. And then, after that, growing up in school in Highview, I used to hang with Teron Lewis, Louis Lou, and all that. Manny, I don't know if anybody remembers Manny.
His little brother is not one of my
absolutely. So, that was like my crew.
Specialist.
Yeah, that was my crew coming up. And later on, I started hanging out with the TOs and the GLXs, the Glennie Smithsons, and AP, and Smitty O, PD Rap, and Hev, and like those was our crew, and Vaughn, there was a crew in the gay. I can't forget Nati.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
So,
big,
our crew was GGMM, Greenburgh Girlie Getting Money Making, you know what I'm saying? So
don't hurt nobody now.
Yeah, so that was the crew, you know what I'm saying? But the crew wasn't just always about, the hustling, because I don't want people to think and mistake the word for hustling as just selling drugs. Mm-hmm. Hustling to me was just basically learning how to move in a room full of vultures at the time, you know what I'm saying? And whether it was being in any block at any time, whether we was going to Yonkers or Mount Vernon, but being from Greenburgh taught me the togetherness.
Yeah, very,
and hold each other down. Mm-hmm. And that's what it was really based upon, coming from Greenburgh, and what I learned. And it wasn't just family values, but it was also about being raised by a village. Absolutely. So if the neighbor sees me acting up, they're gonna smack me in my head instead of just watching what's going on. But they'll also be quick to tell my moms and my pops what's going on. So a lot of times, like when, let's say, skating down at the center.
I had that too back in your day?
Yeah. Those flows was,
Yeah.
those nights was epic. Friday nights and then sneaking into the adult sessions on Sundays. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, when things were starting to jump off, whether if it was beef or different conflicts, somebody and God was making that call to my moms and my parents to come down and get me.
For sure.
And to try and, you know, as much as they could to save me from what was about to go down. Shout out to Tancia Holt.
Tancia. I love Tancia.
Tancia used to be...
That's the homie.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
She used to be one of the main ones that used to actually call my pops and my parents to come and get me. And, you know, sometimes I even still used to duck because even Mike Wash used to be like, yo, the blue van is outside. So that's when I knew to dip out the back door of the center and walk around the parking lot to try and get home before they even catch me. Exactly. So, yeah, man, that's what it was, man. The block, the center, learning how to play ball, learning how to play football, Pop Warner, you know what I'm saying? Then thank God for Mr. Thompson for coming and bringing Young Life to Greenburgh. Mr. Thompson's originally from Harlem. You know, running around with Victor Bates and Jermaine Thompson. That was also part of my crew of coming up. Mr. Thompson had this squad, Young Life, that he used to pretty much just gather all of the cats that was, even if you wasn't all the way nice,
right,
or you was semi-nice and he saw something in you, you was getting in that burgundy station wagon. He was taking us downtown to Harlem to start showing us all of these different basketball tournaments. Like we was doing Rucker Early and Millbank and Citywide and Boise Yesteryear and all these tournaments. So that was another way of how I started now learning the city, because in between our game time, we leaving the gyms or we going in to explore the streets of Harlem and all of that. But on another note, Paul and Greg and I and my sister, we came up going to church in Harlem.
Right, okay.
So we was going to church on 148th between Amsterdam and Broadway.
Right.
So now we're not just also seeing Harlem from that perspective, but then now I got my godbrothers and my cousins and all that. That's at church that's from the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens. So every weekend that we was growing up, our parents would have us spend a different weekend with one of our cousins.
That's great.
Actually thinking that they was keeping us out of trouble from being in Greenburgh on the weekends, but we was actually learning another side of the streets, like being with our fam. So, you know, being in Queens and going to the Coliseum early and Jamaica Ave early and, you know, being with my cousins in Eastchester and, you know, we going to Gun Hill Road and Fordham and Grand Concourse and all that early. And, you know, it's just being with the fam in Brooklyn, whether it's Avenue H and Fulton, Flatbush Ave and Pink Housing and all that. So we was learning the boroughs early. You understand what I'm saying? So, you know, and that also came with our family being Jamaican because my mother actually came to the United States first before my father did. Okay. Now, when my mother came to the United States, her first place was in Harlem on 142nd off of Grand, or between Broadway and Amsterdam. So Harlem was kind of already embedded in us, you know what I'm saying? So then when my pops came back over to the United States, then, you know, then they went to JA, got married, and then they came back to the States, and then Paul and Greg that's how Mike B, Paul and Greg, Camille, you know what I'm saying? So that's how that flow came about.
One thing I get from you, like, I'm big on energy and I'm big on insight and outlook. And like moving around, because I'm somebody who lived in different places too. And you adapt a lot of skills that way. It's dysfunctional as it may come off in our culture, like, oh, you're moving here, you're moving there. There's pros and cons to it. So I could say, because my next question, like Greenburgh, this big misconception about people from Greenburgh is they be feeling like, they'll see somebody like you, like, no way he's from Greenburgh. Like, you don't carry yourself like the image that they have. What and who were some of your prominent influences? Because like I said, I could even say, like, you're not a typical Greenburgh guy. Like, you got a different seasoning to your game, like to your sauce that a lot of people don't have. And then I got a little bit of it too. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Of course you do.
You know, so you know, and I can honestly credit that to just different areas you see, and it just shows you how to move, you know, a certain way that, you know, just living in one area, you might not be able to adapt. Because like Greenburgh is comfort. Everybody know everybody. Everybody got a relative that knows somebody, so you don't really get a chance to adapt to different situations. Because I can honestly say, like, as far as my last name is Steels, you know, my mom and uncle, you know, they from here, but like all my friends had like relatives that was legends in the town already. So like it was always a time, and that's beautiful. That's little such and such. That's whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. Me, I had to kind of do that on my own. And I kind of get that same thing for you. Like you made your own name. You know what I'm saying? Like you are a prominent reason why the Barnett, that name, it means something, you know?
Wow.
So I would like to know, you know, who influenced you and gave you some of your tools?
Well, one of my main factors of an influence that really brought me outside was Andre Gerard. Andre Gerard is one of the first people that literally started showing me style and was the first to bring me downtown to like Delancey Street and actually go shopping in the city.
Right.
You know, to get the Goose Bombers and, you know what I mean, the sheepskins and showing me that lifestyle. But before Dre actually started showing me that, you know, growing up, the B-boys that I used to love to see was like the Dante Jacksons and the you know, Vaughn Cleveland and the Rick Shamleys and Apps and Mutz and Epps and, you know, all these cats was like, you know, Faz D, you know what I'm saying? Like Damon Jones, like a lot of these cats were like my B-boy, were like my fashion superheroes early.
Right.
So watching them in school come through the hallways with the mean jean jackets and the dusty Pumas and the Corey B's, I can't forget the Corey B's that came through with like the pink. He dyed his Pumas pink with the burgundy stripe, with the burgundy fat laces and all of that. And then you got like Rick Shamley, who showed me my first pair of British. You know what I'm saying? Baby blue British. I can't forget Jimmy Scott. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like Jimmy Scott and Dre was like the ones that really showed me, you know, like yo, there's more to it than just going shopping in the Galleria per se.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Or at the time it was like Gimbel's and Macy's early and Lord and Taylor, but you know, Dre, I'll say like Dre, Jimmy Scott, you know, and these other B-boys that I was naming, you know, Sammy Phillips and all of them, like, you know what I mean, were the ones that was really showing me, you know, what it is. And it wasn't even that they were showing me, and the Chris Woodleys, like, coming through. It was different because it was also during that combustion of what was blowing with the culture of hip hop that was coming. So at the same time, as the culture of hip hop was growing, the fashion side of style and b-boyism and the fly girls and all of that, the asymmetrical cuts with the honeys and the bamboo earrings and all that started coming about. So it's like back then, the crunchy leads with the permanent crease. That's why to this day I got the permanent crease in my joints. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that come from the crunchy leads and the Taylor jeans and the Sassoons and the Jordache early. You know what I'm saying? So like
I'm dizzy,
the mock necks, the Chinese mock necks, the Levi jean jackets with the graffiti piece on the back of the jacket and all of that. Yeah. So like all of that was part of your ensemble. Yeah. With the gazelles and your frames and then your Kango hat tilted to the side. That was your B-boy flow, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So back then, as I start seeing the individuality of everybody's style, it was almost a disrespect for you to actually come outside and jack somebody else's style. We call that biting.
Yeah.
you back in the days, you might get smacked upside your head because you bit somebody's style, because that person put thought into that look.
Right.
So when you come to school and you busting that look that first week of school, because you know that first week of school, first day of school, it's like, you know, you getting your stamp of approval. Sure. And then you might come back after that Christmas vacation ready to, you know, hit them again. So, you know, it's like, and I mention that because today's fashion, it's like the style of fashion is like a zombie apocalypse right now. What's going on to where everybody's like literally looking like each other. Yeah. So back then, everybody wanted to look like the street hustlers. Right. Even the athletes to the music artists. Of course. You understand what I'm saying? But now it's seemed like it's flip-flop to where the street dudes want to look like the artists and the rappers and boom, boom, boom. Everybody gets so as I got older, you know what I'm saying, and started, you know, developing my style, and, you know, I got with this crew. It was me, Mark Oliver, Toy, my cousin Toy, and the gang. We had a crew, and Mike Wash was down with us too, and Glennie was down with us too. We had a crew, it was called Rockefeller. But it was long before there was even y'all grown. Y'all close to his age. We talking like maybe 90, 91, 92. Oh, damn. He was a bossy. Yeah, so our crew was Rockefeller crew. Everybody in the crew. Me and Mark, we had the Beamers. Mark had the 2002 series. I had the 320i Canary Yellow joint. Then it started turning into the V-Dub crew because everybody in the crew had Volkswagens like Jettas and all that. That was like the flow. You know what I'm saying? So then, you know, before I go any further, I gotta shout one more person out that was like a heavy influence, but we're gonna get to that too. Ronnie Archer. All right, a lot of folks, rest in peace. A lot of folks don't even speak about Biz. Ronnie Archer was our first Biz. You know what I'm saying? Really? So you know, Ronnie had his style. Ronnie was like the photographer, but Ronnie was, to me, probably one of the first to leave Greenburgh and jump into this industry thing. So I don't want to get into that yet until you're ready to go into that element of the joint. But yeah, man.
This is what Enough is Normal is about, because these are some of my legends, man. And they some of everybody's legends. And I speak for the you know, it's an honor to even be able to get a Mike B. Like, this could easily run somebody's tab, you know, a few grand. Like, when you really read his campaign, the fact that he's sitting next to me in my GEA sweatsuit, he's naming, you know, me fat. I'm just, as long as I match, I'm cool. I'm walking out the crib. He was just, I felt like I was at a Japanese restaurant. He's doing this and I thought I was on the phone with the people at Great Wall. That just goes to show you how extensive his catalog is. And one thing I wanted to ask you before we move forward, you know, you said you grew up in a church. And I get a sense of a confidence that comes from you, and I know Freaky, I can feel it. Like because I grew up in church too. That's what a lot of people don't know, and I just feel like it's faith. See, so now when it comes to that, often I feel like when it comes to religion, and I don't like diving in religion too much. As far as a higher power, I feel like our faith is our ability, the energy we put into. I feel like a huge part of our faith has to do with what we put into the universe. So I feel like a lot of times with people, you know, we'll hide every good thing. I'm not gonna say hide. I'm trying to choose my words wisely here when it comes to the whole higher power thing. Sometimes I feel like blessings and the devil will hide behind those two phrases. Like, everything good that happens to us, we'll call it blessing, which I believe so. And then everything negative happens to us, we'll label that as the devil. And I feel like our energy, we get receipts for the energy that we put out there. So if you put good energy out here, good things happen. Sometimes, you know, the things that we might label the devil is our karma. So I'm just sitting here listening to you, that, as far as, you know, the confidence and the strong. And then I know backstories too, like things about people that they probably didn't even know I was paying attention to. You're a role model, man. Like it's really, I'm surprised we're gonna have to edit a lot of this out too. Cause I'm getting emotional a little bit. Cause like in life, everybody I was around was a basketball player. So like his favorite player was AI. Taylor's favorite player was Jordan, of course, which ended up being.
Don't edit none of this out.
It ended up being LeBron. I feel like for me, you know, a goal of mine is to eventually one day be styled by you. You know what I'm saying? Like that's on mine.
Coming from balling, that's easy.
But you know what it is? Of course it's a layup just off the love, but I want it to be a layup off the work. You know what I'm saying? So this starts right here, you know, not to get sidetracked, but I had to let you know that before I all the way
building our rapport.
Yeah. So that means a lot. Like this is a landmark for me. We talk about the podcast, like this is major. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, moving forward,
faith.
What was that pivotal moment for you? Because like you said, you had the 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That let you know I'm gonna start my own, you know, line of fashion. Because I feel like you got your own genre. When I look at the catalog, Bogart, it doesn't look like anything that I ever seen. So what for you kicked that off?
Well, to be honest with you, I never saw myself as like one to have an actual collection, like a clothing company, a clothing line, right? The brand itself was just something that was always in the making from when I was an intern at Bad Boy.
Yeah, we didn't even get to it. Okay.
So, pardon me. So, you know, from the time of June Balloon and my man Shannon Butcher calling me Bogart.
Okay.
Because they felt like, you know, when I first came to Bad Boy, I was wearing so much low, they thought I was from Brooklyn.
Right.
So, but once they started to know I was from Greenburgh, it's like, they was like, yo, pretty much for you to come into this industry, you gonna have to Bogart your way. Like, cause nobody knows nothing really about Greenburgh. Like,
no references.
I mean, you have references, you had Atlantic Star from Greenburgh, but nobody really, you know, you Google Atlantic Star, it says White Plains.
Right.
So,
of course.
But Ronnie Archer, to me, that's why I say he was probably the first to solidify and certify Greenburgh as a stamp, as somebody in the industry being from Greenburgh.
For those who don't know, Ronnie Archer, who is Ronnie Archer? As far as you said,
Ronnie Archer is probably 2 upperclassmen than me.
Okay.
He's Mike Washington and Vaughn and Andre Gerard's class. Like,
was he an artist? Like, what did he do?
He was a photographer.
Okay, well, that's what I wanted to
He was always into photography.
Okay. Right.
Ronnie he always had his camera. That was his gun. You know what I'm saying? He was always shooting.
Right.
So Ronnie was also working down at the center too as well.
Yeah.
But he was a photographer for the center.
Right.
So back in the days when you walk into the center, you got that hallway picture, the Wall of Fame. You know what I'm saying? But Ronnie was working with Stephen Lewis.
Okay.
Stephen Lewis was the OG.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because he had the black room, the dark room, where you get the film developed. But Ronnie was not only, he started off as the lifeguard. He was also a lifeguard at the pool. And then he was like, you know, dipping and dabbing into the whole photography thing. The photography thing, I forgot what college he went to, but then the photography thing really started to take him places.
Oh, so he was serious.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, shout out to Ronnie.
So Ronnie later on, leaving Greenburgh, Ronnie became an executive at Sony Music. So a lot of folks don't know, Ronnie Archer was behind a lot of the projects with Nas and the Fugees and so on and so forth. Like, so, and this is early.
Is this out there? Because this, like you said, this should definitely be
it should be out there, but
this
is definitely long before social media.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you know, and George Brown's Anita Brown, she was in the industry as well too. And Jennifer Perry and Gwen Niles, they were all in the industry early. But Ronnie was somebody that I noticed because he was one of my OGs that I was always watching as far as with his style and the cars and his crew. You know what I'm saying? With Jomel Clark and Pee Wee and DS and DM. You know what I'm saying? So the Green Hills. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, there are a lot of them in White
Plains. Yeah. So shout out to those to that crew and you know, Louis Defense and all of that. Like that was and the Dave Van Dyvers. Like those was like Ronnie's crew. And Troy Johnson and that flow and Nubio and all of that.
Yeah.
So, but watching Ronnie's move, you know, from Greenburgh to going to the HSBCUs and that whole college flow, and then transitioning into the industry was something that always intrigued me. Before I got into the industry, you know, I was rapping. I was actually
really?
a rapper.
I didn't know that. I don't think my viewers did that either.
Yeah. So we had a crew.
What was your rap name?
My rap name was Juicehead.
Juicehead.
Yeah, Juicehead, because
I'm glad you started doing fashion.
Yeah. Nah, but I was nice with it though.
You was?
Yeah, because we used to open up. So my rap crew was Mad Chemistry. It was Rick DeHaty, Talib, everybody known as Talib. Large, Cousin Large.
You was rapping too?
Yeah, no doubt. XL, his name was XL the Villain.
That's hard.
Then you had Glennie Smith, who was GLX. Negate Towns was Nati. Yeah. And I was Juicehead, and we had my man Bert Stewart. Bert and Talib was like a duo. You know what I'm saying? So we had our crew. We was traveling. We was opening up and doing shows for Tribe Called Quest, Mos Def, and all of that, like early. Yeah, absolutely. But, you know, after a while, it started getting frustrating for all of us. Yeah. And, you know, we were definitely, you know, seeing productions by like Terminator X. I'm going to Long Island and I'm in Terminator X's crib, and Chris Woodley is taking us to his brother's crib out in Queens. So we're moving around the circle. Rest in peace, Pabon, and he was like one of our first managers. And Peter Paul, shout out to Pete, and John Hoffman. But they was moving us in the circle. We was doing shows for Lyricist Lounge and all of that.
Clue. That's crazy.
So we had a demo, one of our joints. We did a promo for Funk Master Flex one time, me and the Gay, which was dope.
That's hard.
So,
it's legendary.
So we was always, you know, moving around because we were trying to figure it out. And you know, it wasn't that we wanted to be somebody, because we was always somebody. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. We was just trying to figure out, like,
how we gonna get rich?
Get to the bag.
Let's cut it out.
But not only just get to the bag, but get to the bag doing something that we loved.
Of course.
And we enjoyed, because we all had jobs. We all was doing UPS and sanitation and all of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? I did all of that. You know, working down at the center and you know, UPS. But you know, it was just, I don't know what happened after I got locked up and came home. Started writing rhymes. Then all of a sudden, I started hanging out with my man Groovy Lou, and Groove brought me down to Bad Boy, which was on 19th Street. Right. And I started running with Groove, and Groove at the time was the in-house stylist for the first generation of Bad Boy, which is Big, and Mace, LOX, 112. Yeah. You know, so that was like my introduction into doing fashion in the industry. Okay. And being an assistant to the stylist. But at the same time, as I was Groove's assistant, I was still dabbing in promotions, and I was with the Harv Pierres and the Mel Smiths and the June Balloons and the Shans. But then I was also dibbing and dabbing in the management side and the general manager side of Kurt Burrow's office. And then I finally became an intern to Leote Blacknor. Now, Leote was Puff's executive assistant. Okay. So between being Leote's executive assistant, assisting Groove with the styling for the videos and the photo shoots.
Yeah.
I was still having my foot in the streets, doing my 1-2, at the same time working part-time at sanitation or carrying it over to working the graveyard shift at UPS. So I'm doing all of this at the same time, son.
No kids,
So, nah, no kids.
Yeah.
No kids.
Yeah.
Soon come though, God bless. But during those early times, you know, it was the flow was crazy, bro.
Like, what the
It was crazy.
Yeah.
So there came a point where, you know, I had to try and figure this out.
Right.
And the deeper that I got into, you know, wanting to be in the industry and focus on, you know, being this cat that was at Bad Boy Entertainment, which was like my school, which was like, you know, I'm attending the University of Bad Boy Entertainment, taking all these different classes, but yet I was roaming the halls with the principal at the time, which was the hottest cat, which was Puff. You understand what I'm saying? So how I became Puff's actual liaison and being his personal assistant during this time, you know, as an intern, it was hard, me and my knees, because you weren't on salary.
Right.
So as an intern, you'd be lucky to get like $5 and 2 tokens a day, right? But when I came to Bad Boy, I was already popping. I had the cell phones, the mobile phones, the Beamer, the Jetta,
came to the table,
low down, all crazy, still fly with it. But
who the fuck is this?
But as I started wanting to get more and more into this, because you can't balance the two in life. You're either going to commit to the streets or you're going to commit to whatever that trade of art of what you wanted to do to change your career and make it positive.
For sure.
So I was hustling cell phones. I had the Chronic to, you know, the execs and all of that. I did an introduction between my credit card guy and the mobile flip guy. Built that marriage. Now I'm selling burners to all the executives and boom, boom, boom. Puff used to buy like 3-4 phones from me a week, but they was burners, so they wouldn't last. So I told Groove, I said, yo, Groove, tell your man I'll give him 3-4 phones a week if he just let me get next to him.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? And hold him
Yeah.
down.
Right.
So there was my first time trying to create, that was like actually my 17th, 21st time trying to create my own opportunity.
Yeah.
So from there, I started getting Puff these phones, started becoming his assistant, and, you know, the rest is kind of history. You know what I'm saying?
Trust is big.
I don't even know if I answered your question.
Nah, you answered it.
About, because I never wanted to do a clothing line.
Okay.
And I think your question is how do I do a lot of that? So if I get long-winded, it's a lot that I have to explain before we actually get to the bottom of that answer.
Absolutely.
So me learning styling and running around with Groove helped me, and at the same time being Puff's assistant helped me learn how to move around in the industry.
And opportunity is opportunity. That's what it's about. It's not about people get too wrapped up in lifelong dreams. Opportunity is out. That's how I'm sitting here right now. I never had a dream when I was a kid. I had a dream catcher when I was a kid too. I said, I want to be a podcaster. No, that door was opened up for me by somebody else. That's an opportunity. Sometimes we get too wrapped up in money and thinking if a person don't give us money, a person don't love us. I appreciate the little things like somebody like you. You from Greenburgh, I'm from Greenburgh. The eyes is on Greenburgh. Right now, back then, those who came before me, those who's here now, that alone, I'm grateful for that. So I just simplify, my happiness. And so, like you said, you never had a dream, this astronomical goal. It wasn't like you was sneaking in your pop's closet trying on his blazers.
Oh, I was definitely doing that.
I'm pretty sure you was doing it.
I was stealing his colognes, the Pierre Cardin, and all of that.
But I'm saying, like, that wasn't your dream. Like, I'm gonna be a stylist. You saw an opportunity.
Right.
That comes back to, like you said, you got that hustler's mindset. It's a mindset. It's in your blood. It's like, okay, I'm here interning. how do I get there? And a lot of people don't have the ability to do that. Okay, so that's great. So what year was this when you started running around officially?
This is like
when it went from you gonna go get the coffee to let me holler at you, let me build with you.
This was about 95, 96.
So this is early.
Yeah,
okay.
95,
This so you caught Puff in the beginning.
Yeah, early. And
that's love.
Excuse me. And
Big.
You know, just Big was popping.
Yeah.
And excuse me. And at that time, I just saw myself as like the fly on the wall. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And I was just, my thing was to just basically steal as much information as possible because, like I said, that was my school. I was attending the University of Bad Boy Entertainment, and I was a student taking all these different classes.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it was also important for me to learn marketing because whatever you do, even if while you're building a brand or whatever you're promoting or whatever you're selling, at the end of the day, everything always falls back to marketing.
Of course.
Right? So it wasn't just learning, you know, to run and get the coffee or wash the car. No. I know what you're saying. I know what you're saying.
You know what I mean.
No. I'm saying.
I know you just mean.
But I enjoyed it.
Yeah, of course.
You understand what I'm saying?
Led to.
I enjoyed that. I enjoyed washing the cars and all of that because there was a point where I wasn't getting any money. Now I've completely fell off, like, right? So it went from times where, Kevin Egger would give me a ride downtown to the office. Man. Vincent Taylor, Jay Taylor give me a ride to the office. Mike Washington give me a ride. Troy Johnson. But after a while, I couldn't keep asking them to take me downtown.
Of course.
You understand what I'm saying? Because after a while they leave the car park, they getting tickets and piling up and all of that. So after a while, bro, your man started hopping cabs to White Plains train station, timing my flow to making sure that when the train is actually coming, by the time the cab drops me off, all I'm doing is running up the steps, jumping on the train, and hiding in the bathroom until I get to 125 or Grand Central, depending on if I got caught or not. If I got caught, then I'd argue my way off the train.
You got caught?
Plenty of times. I had to argue, but I had to make sure it was the express. So that way I get off. If I got caught, it was 125 I got caught at. And I'd argue my way off the train, run down the block, hop the turnstile for the 456 to get down to 19th Street. You understand what I'm saying? So
we don't see that, like you said, do with social media. We don't get a chance to see those trials and tribulations. It's wow.
So after a while, it turned into, okay, Groove got the expedition. Now, we ride downtown with Groove. And I'm Groove's driver now, but at the same time, I'm still Puff's assistant because that's my ride downtown. So now it made my train ride even easier now. Now I can just hop the train to Mount Vernon now. You know what I'm saying? And then catch the ride with Groove and go downtown. So it was
this in school.
You
don't learn this in college.
But it started getting crazy because as I became Puff's assistant, Puff's liaison, if I was working late with him in the studio till 4 or 5 in the morning, you already know you're missing that last train from Grand Central to go back up to Westchester, which was 1:30 at night. So a lot of times after we leave the studio and dropping Puff home, Puff would be like, all right, just put the car in the garage. So I drop Puff off. I go around the corner, past the garage,
see ya,
to the FDR, straight to Greenburgh. You understand what I'm saying?
You used to joy around a Puff car. That's tough.
And I used to pull up on the block with the black 500 sedan or the silver 500 drop. You know what I'm saying? And just cool out with the homies at the same time. But then I got to get back to the crib. I got to get my sleep.
About to say.
And then by then, I still got to make it back downtown in time early enough to put the car in the garage to be back in front of his crib by 7:30, 8 o'clock to get him up in the morning to start over. You understand what I'm saying? So, that was my flow early, like, you know what I'm saying?
You said something that stuck out to me as far as as far as Diddy and you being excited to wash the car and do these, and I'm hearing you and I'm just seeing the elevation You went from.
I used to hear it from the homies too. Like,
I mean,
yo,
but listen,
yo, you a sucker.
that's going.
Like, yo,
of
you
course,
the biggest sucker for
yeah.
Greenburgh. Like, I used to hear
Of
it.
course, you gonna hear it,
But I knew what it was. I had my tunnel vision,
Yeah.
son, and I was focused, and I was like, okay, it's something going to fall off the back of the truck. You know what I'm saying?
With success is the worst thing for me. Thanks, that's the fashion in them right there. One thing that people don't document, because me and Nick spoke on it, success means different things to different people. Right now, I'm speaking on like your success. You're a successful stylist on top of many things, but right now we're talking about
I haven't even reached my success. I haven't even cracked the surface yet, bro.
Well, from the lens that I'm coming from, you cracked the pot open.
I appreciate
that.
Well,
so with that being said, I mean, one thing I feel like a lot of people in your shoes don't document, the downsides of having a successful business. Because, we see the cars, we see the watches, we see the vacations, we see the,
But nobody documents the struggle.
Right. So now guys like us who follow in all y'all's footsteps, I'm listening to you talk about migrating, and your story's kind of a lot like mine. I might have been able to skip some of those steps had I had this detailed conversation with you earlier. So I feel like, guys in your shoes, or even, other guys that we know personally, I feel like the world takes trial and tribulation as if like weakness. And I feel like some things are inevitable. We human. So we have emotion. We need to know, what's the downside about a viral clip going, viral suit going on the gram, and the miscellaneous phone calls you start getting, like you said, losing loved ones. Because I feel like the higher your focus gets, if everybody around you don't grow the same way, some people get left, and that's not easy to deal with when you feel like a person is supposed to be right there. And that's just one thing I feel like that is hard to deal with. Some harder than others. So it's like, what's some of the downsides, before we move forward with, the different things that we got going on? What are some of the downsides to, on your journey that you realized the higher you made it? What were some burdens?
I mean, well, first of all, for me, what I've learned, there is no story without the struggle.
Yeah, absolutely.
You understand? The downsides of it.
And some solutions too, because we're not just about the problem. We the problem and the solution. Like, what do you? Everything's different. What's your therapy? Like, what shit? I don't like this, dealing with different people. Also, for me, civilizing. In the street, somebody, you got a disagreement. Y'all can always take that walk. It's a different when somebody ordered X amount of suits and only pay you for half. You can't just go down there with the. You understand me? It's not death row.
What it was is that what changed my flow up was that I found myself, whether if it was hanging with certain cats or being in certain environments or whatever the case may be, life is like the top of a soda can. That groove.
Right.
Some people get stuck in that groove.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't get focused enough, you're not able to break away off of that groove.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to find a way to break out of that groove. And to break out of it, I just started focusing more on just being downtown. And
getting away.
And there was a time where, bro, I wasn't coming home. Puff I would say about maybe 4 or 5 months went by before Puff even figured out that I was living with him. You understand what I'm saying?
Wow.
It just didn't make sense for me to just keep going uptown and come back down. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I had to figure it out. I had to get the bread right. And, there's times where one time he came downstairs in the middle of the night, he was like, "Yo, son, what are you doing here?" And I was like,
"I'm ready for work."
Leote knows I've been here for a minute, but you got a 7:30 tomorrow morning. You know what I'm saying? It didn't make sense for me to go home. So You know, it just, and then what was so the beautiness of it is that as I'm working, I'm building these relationships with these other clothing companies, these other brands. So I'm able to get pieces and garments from each of them. So it made it easy for me to take a shower at Puff's crib and get dressed because I just caught this jacket or these jeans from whether it's Mecca or Nietzsche or Maurice Malone. And you know what I'm saying? I was able to start just 555 Soul, and I started, PMD. I just started putting my looks together. You know what I'm saying? Because, bro, I wasn't able to really do shopping like that at that time. You know what I'm saying? Right. So, and then it also came with certain pieces that'll fall off the back of the truck when I'm doing photo shoots with Groove and stuff like that. Sometimes some brands will send some stuff and it wouldn't fit the artist or whatever the case may be. Groove would be like, yo, son, can you fit that? I'm like, what? Yeah. I'm going to make it fit. Right. You know what I'm saying? This is my look for Thursday. Yeah. Thursday, like, you know what I'm saying? Friday or whatever the case may be. So, but I don't know if that was like a downside because I never looked at it. I never saw it as a downside.
Which is great.
The only downside that I probably saw was the rhetoric. What's rhetoric mean again?
Oh, Alex.
Disrespect, like
I know what the content, I know how to use the word, but
maybe that's not the word. You know, I don't want to get into using words that I don't know the meaning of.
I know
I thought that's what it meant.
It sounded like it worked.
I didn't, there was a time of when I was hearing what I was hearing about me from the hood because they wasn't understanding what was going on.
Of course, most don't.
So I think that was like a downside, but at the same time, like I said, I didn't see it as a downside because I saw it as fuel.
And at the end of the day, that's
and it would get me upset because I couldn't believe, like, man, these like my homies, I'm bugging, like y'all see what I'm trying to do.
From Friday or something, y'all see the vision.
If a party's going on, y'all know I'm inviting you, we getting in and we rocking, like, you know what I'm saying? But, I just, after a while, I couldn't dwell on that. I just had to stay focused and use that as fuel and a new battery in my back and just go even harder to the basket. You know what I'm saying?
That'll make people not even want to even come back. Like,
but see, I couldn't do that.
And I could, just the fact, when I read the bio, it let me know everything.
That is not me as a person.
Yeah, no, that's
because
funny.
I could never forget not only where I came from, but the folks that I learned from. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So it was like, I didn't owe anybody anything. You understand what I'm saying? But I sometimes felt like I had a mission to not only show that, yo, this is where I'm from, and y'all gonna get to know where I'm from. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm still gonna be able to. You got cats that get blow up and boom, 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 and they can't even come back to their hood. Like, you know what I'm saying? So for me, that was important for me because I always felt like if I can't come and just chill and sit on the block and just relax and still kick it with Spanks and, Till Dog and Rest in Peace, Cracker Jack and all of that. Like, if I couldn't do that, you understand what I'm saying? Then it really meant nothing to me. And it would hurt, actually.
Of course it does.
But sometimes there is a downfall because I guess for certain people, certain predicaments, trying to keep it real, you understand what I'm saying? Depending on who you are and how you handle it, it doesn't always turn out the way that you want. And then it turns into they're bringing you down.
They help you crash.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, again, I had to stay focused, you know what I'm saying? And at the same time, show my love.
Of course.
Give my daps and my pounds and my hugs. But at the same time, still do what I had to do for the hood. Like, even if it's doing a back to school down at the center, and bringing S&S up there and 106 in Park and giving out free gear, or doing a celebrity basketball tournament and, celebrity game up at the college.
Westchester, that was y'all?
Yeah. Well,
Kev, I remember that.
Kev did it one year.
That was 09.
Kev, I don't remember.
They did it a couple
think
times, actually.
Kev did it a couple times.
Yeah.
And I did it one year. You know what I'm saying? But it felt good for me because my give back was whatever bread I made, I gave a percentage to the athletic department for their jerseys to get them new unis.
Yeah. Okay.
But then I
That's
also
dope.
gave another percentage to the fashion department and sent them to the factories of Ferragamo in Italy. You understand what I'm saying?
Fashion Godfather stuff.
So what's so crazy is just recently I bumped into Isaiah Thomas.
That's crazy.
Okay?
Yeah.
The
Legend.
class that I helped, I'm not gonna say I sent them,
Of course.
the class that I helped to send them to Italy, excuse me, his daughter was in that class, was in that fashion
That's
class.
reach. That's reach.
And he said to me, he went on that trip with his kids, you know what I'm saying, with his daughter and all of that to, help be a chaperone or whatever and all that. So, and the first thing he said to me, I was like, hey, sir, it's an honor meeting you, boom, boom, boom. He was like, what's your name? I was like, Mike B. He was like, why is that sound
Mike B is a
familiar?
brand in itself.
Yeah, he's like, why does that sound familiar? I was like, well, I don't know, but we met before through my professor at Westchester Community College, my fashion professor. He was like, wait a minute, the trip to Italy. And I was like,
Oh, that's where y'all went?
That's where they went, to the Ferragamo factories in Italy.
That's crazy.
So they was like,
That's tough.
so he said, man, let me tell you something. You may not know this, but that was one of the most incredible things that you could have done for my daughter.
That's what counts.
And that it hit different.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? Because I never, once I did that, because I didn't even go on a trip.
Right.
I wasn't even going to the school. I used to go to Westchester.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's why it made it easy for me. And I played ball for them too, so it made it easy for me to do what I had to do for them. But for him to say that, a few months ago, and me not even knowing what came of that trip, you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It hit different, bro.
Yeah.
It's 2023,
That's
and your man hit me with that at 2-3
This a Hall of
months ago.
Famer. Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
About
So for him to
continuity.
remember that and to even say for what I was able to do to make an impact. So it's like this, man. I try to be as selfless as possible, right? But from what I learned, the most selfish thing that you could do is give back as much as you can. You understand what I'm saying? So that's always been my mission. That's always been my plan. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And like you said earlier, you were saying, you was tapping into, the spirituality and the religion. And, you know what I'm saying? Yes, I grew up in the church, and the person who I worship is the Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. That's my Most High.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that is my faith. That's how I learned to walk by faith and not by sight. Because at the end of the day, if you got faith, there is no room for luck.
Yeah, nah.
You understand what I'm saying? So that's my faith in itself. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm Jamaican. So yes, I know a little bit. I know a lot about the Rastafarian life.
Oh, for sure.
That's actually sometimes how I try and live my life accordingly. You know what I'm saying?
Rastafarians too.
But at the same time, I also have wisdom in Muslim, being a Muslim as well.
Right.
At the same time, I have mentors that are Israeli Jewish. You understand what I'm saying?
That's
So
normal.
so I learned all of that because at the end of the day, it's like no information is never enough to receive. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, you definitely answered the question and more. One thing, you're very, very detailed and very passionate when you talk. So this is the type of dialogue I was looking for from you, and this is going just how I thought it would go from the outside, because you can have your opinion, and I got my eyes. I like my eyes. Like I can really. My character judgment is
Your
very
third eye is very wide open.
It's very.
And that's what it is. That's what it's about.
This is exactly what it was. And what I summarized from, as far as your path with Puff, we don't call it, like your path to Puff. We, as society, did we often confuse being used and using with leeching. Everybody is meant to be used. If you can't be used, you're useless.
Say it again,
you can't
bro.
So
you know what I mean?
When often, because we in a society now too, especially, you know, Black people, we don't like giving people their credit. So I know a lot of things that started with certain guys, but for some reason, like, you know, our peers or counterparts or whoever don't like giving us the credit as if there's something wrong with taking something from somebody else. Me personally, I don't chill with flunkies. I don't be with losers, people who I can't gain anything from it. It don't gotta always
hang out with.
Yeah, it's not always just money. People be wondering why people reach for different people. People play different parts in people's lives. So I got a friend who I call when, you know, and I'm not really big on venting, but like I got people around me that for different purposes.
Gotta listen to you.
Absolutely.
And lend their ear.
And they're gonna keep it all the way funky. It's about 3 of them.
Rather than judging you.
Right. So I just say that to say, don't be afraid to give people their credit, man. Like, you're not wrong for whether age is overrated. It's not, age is just time spent. It's all about what you do in that time. So I don't take nothing away from nobody, younger, older, on the block. It's easy for me to give credit to different guys, whether it was I met them on the block. At a point, some of these guys was everything to me. Now I'm over here now, so, you know, life is pulling us apart naturally, but I'll never forget, you know, nobody's role, you know, in my life, because all the people I'm around is them guys, man. In some category, they the leading scorer. And I take pride in that. I don't chill with people who's just lame. So, you know, we got to stop. We got to get out of that.
You know what I was taught that you ever walk into a room, and if you're the smartest person in the room, that's the wrong room to be in.
You're in the wrong. And I always say, if you are in that room, do them a service and teach. You know what I'm saying?
That part.
Before I leave, you know, but you can't give it to everybody because everybody don't want it.
Yeah.
And then Mike said something that was important. I've been living by this. You can't take everything personal. It's a difference between somebody's overall personality versus when they do something specifically to you. So what I mean by that is there's some people, they just are a certain way with everybody. So if I love you, I'm gonna try to minimize the ways you can hurt me. I might know you got a big mouth. I just won't tell you nothing significant. Once I decide to do that, knowing your personnel or knowing your character, I'm a fool.
Or you can use that person as free marketing and free promotion.
That too. You gotta find a way to use it. Everybody's meant to be used. It's chess.
What you want to get out there, you already know who to go to.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
So that you an asset.
Because
also, too, a big misconception with us, too, is a person might be an asset as a homeboy or in the street, but in business, you're a liability. If you're known for fucking up, you know, 5 packs, 5 grams, or you fucking up measly half ounces of bud, God forbid, you know, I put all this work in. I'm not going to let you play Demolition Man because business-wise, you haven't shown that, you know, on no level. So don't think just because. And that's what keeps me grounded with. I know a lot of successful people, people what we deem as success. I know a lot of those guys. I don't take anything personal of what a person might feel like a person should do because I sit down, you break shit down. There's a lot of people who have done more for me than I have for them. Whether it's big, small, tall, wide. Why would I feel that way? Know who you're talking to. You know, somebody else's outlook. It doesn't mean that that's just what it is. Don't be entitled to anything. And I have to show that. I showed I'm an asset in the street. I got to spend just as much time showing I'm an asset over here now.
Moving forward.
You know, that's for me. When you said selfish, it's not, you got to be selfish, especially we in the society now, peace is hard to find. And peace, well, not for me. I'm speaking like, you know, just for the masses, you know, you start simplifying your happiness. You know, I went through a situation 3 years ago that had me, I lost everything that was normal to me. So me personally, every time I do something as simple as take a piss, I'm excited because at the time I couldn't do it.
Just grateful.
Jumped on the highway, first time driving a car, get on the spring. that's my favorite highway now. I start finding little things to be happy about. Whereas though I'm not focused on, damn, I'm not where I want to be in life. All right, when I go upstairs, I see my son.
You're appreciating life.
Absolutely, and I wasn't always like that.
You're happy with the way you see yourself evolve.
Right.
You either evolve or you dissolve.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's really what it's about.
Yeah.
You either elevate or you disintegrate.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
that rhyme to it. Rap over here, Mike B.
I mean, bars. You know what I'm saying? Bars.
I appreciate that. Bogart. Bogart came a long way. You obviously style some good friends of mine. Earn Your Leisure. Shout out to them guys. On top of, like I said, your catalog is extensive. I'll bring them up to bring up. Fast forward to 2023. Factory. You know, I see a lot of. You got a warehouse.
No, I don't have a warehouse.
Okay.
See, I don't have a warehouse. Right. What it is my mentor, Guy Wood. He has a brand, 5001 Flavors.
Okay.
Guy, between 5001 Flavors,
right.
Guy has been making stuff for the industry for over maybe 30, 40, maybe even 50 years.
Wow.
And we're talking starting back from the Fat Boys to any and anybody in the industry to DJ Khaled, Fat Joe. So during the days of B.I.G. and Puff and Mason, all that, Guy was making all of those outfits and stuff for us. So the majority of the stuff that Big would talk about, Versace, Moschino, those brands didn't have Big and Tall.
Yeah.
So, you know, so one day it was like, you know, rest in peace, Johnny Versace shut down the Versace store. Johnny Versace and Puff is on this side of the store, shopping, whatever, doing what they do. They're showing him the new collection. And Big and Groove is on this side of the store, just picking things out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We bring certain references up to Guy. Guy go gets the fabric and make everything for Groove Big. You know what I'm saying? So learning that process is what taught me that later on when I started getting my clients, to add another criteria to my styling. If I'm shopping and I couldn't find anything that I wanted for my clients, I would actually just take a picture of it, go get the fabric, bring it to Guy, and have Guy make it for me. You understand what I'm saying? So it's Guy's operation that you're seeing on my IG with all the seamstress and everything. You understand what I'm saying?
Back to that. It's
so,
a team, right.
So even still to this day, I'm still a student. Every day I'm still learning and learning and learning. I'm a student for life.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And every day I learn something new with God. And also other tailors too, like my man Torre. You know what I'm saying? He has a brand too. Y'all can look Torre up.
Yeah, the tailor talk, you want to inform me.
Yeah.
So this is more Spanish for me.
So, you know, Bogart is something that I was always being called from early Bad Boy as an intern.
Yeah.
But then, I ain't gonna lie, sitting in the office, we smoking out and, you know, we just sitting there trying to figure out an acronym for Bogart. And it just came out backwards. So once we flipped it, it became building organizations geared around real deals.
Wow. I never knew that.
So that is what my brand and my company is based off of now.
Right.
And every day that I get up in the morning, I make it my business to build an organization geared around real deals or designs, depending on what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So, you know, how, like I said before, I never saw myself making a collection. I still don't have a collection. Like, the clothes that you be seeing, it's either all custom or it might be like my basic pieces, like my sweatshirts, hoodie, t-shirts, leggings for ladies or whatever. But I originally started out with my brand to be leather pieces, like accessories. Because at one point, I just saw everybody wanting to be a designer or have a clothing company. And I didn't want to be a part of that because I was still focused on becoming a bigger stylist than I was whether it was going into movies or commercials or whatever the case may be. So it was, for me, I was like, you know what? As a stylist, I can also design garments, but I can sell a backpack or a toiletry bag, you know what I'm saying? Or a leather poncho or a cape or whatever. So my first collaboration was with a company called Cockpit USA. Cockpit USA made the original Avirexes in the 90s that you used to see like Nas and all of them. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Not the 80s that's out now. Because it's a whole different type of quality. And you know, it's no disrespect to Avirex at all today. You understand what I'm saying? But the original quality of the leather was constructed and developed by Cockpit USA.
Okay.
So when I came up with this idea that I wanted to do these 3 coats, whether it was the leather bomber with the fur collar, or waistline shearling, or the 3/4 joint, I just thought about what brand could I do this with that would make sense. One, for me being in the love of hip hop, for the love of hip hop, and also, you know, at this point where, you know, I wanted to also help bring back some validation to Cockpit. So when to be honest with you, I never met the owners of Cockpit until maybe a few years ago in Italy.
Right.
And that was by default because, no, I won't say by default, it was destined.
That was destined.
I like that. It was destined because when I was working with them, I designed the Bad Boy Avirexes, but it was via fax machine. I did a sketch of how I want the Bad Boy Avirex to look,
Take this,
right?
Money.
And I faxed my design to them, and they loved it. It was like, okay, this is what we're gonna do. I'll make you a certain amount for your staff and your artists. Boom. I was like, yeah, but I need a white one and a black one for Puff, obviously. You know what I'm saying? So during this time of this this project coming about to fruition, like I said, I never met Jackie or Jeff Kleiman until a few years back, right before the pandemic. I call it the pandemic because, no, actually, I take that back. It's the pandemic.
Scandemic. It was all kind of demics.
Yeah, but we're not going to get into that
absolutely not.
Because we lost a lot of loved ones to the pandemic.
Oh, yeah, no,
You know
for sure.
So I'm addressing that in its proper term.
Of course.
But anyway, I was at Pitiuma in Italy, and shout out to my man Ouija of Brooklyn Circus. He got a brand called Brooklyn Circus. Y'all may know Brooklyn Circus now because he just did a recent collaboration with The Gap, which is super dope. Jackie, I'm having a conversation with Ouija, and Jackie hears my voice. She was like, Mike B? And I was like, and I heard her voice because we used to talk over the phone.
That's some taking shit.
And I was like,
good luck.
I was like, Miss Jackie? I was like, Jackie? Is that Jackie Clement? We just like, Mike B, you don't know Jackie from Cockpit? And I was like, whoa. I was like, that's great. 25 years later, bro.
That's freaky.
You understand what I'm saying?
That's love.
So we kicking it like we never even skipped a beat right now in Italy, in the middle of Florence, Italy, just kicking it and all that, right? So we just kicked it, and then we just made a plan. It was like, we exchanged information. It was like, yo, when we get back to the States, we got to figure something out. Look at God. Just when I had this idea of how I'm going to design or what brand I'm going to do these coats with, he put Jackie and Jeff back into my life again. Yeah. And, the rest is history. So, so if you go online and you see my coats, boom, the coat is the black coat. Huh?
Are they affordable?
everything is affordable, my brother.
Businessman, damn.
Everything is affordable.
You learned that in marketing.
Yeah. Everything is affordable.
Yeah, everything is affordable.
And if it doesn't happen to meet your financial criteria, we could always figure it out.
I appreciate you, man.
Because I'm for the people, by the people.
I need a Bogart EBT swipe.
Yeah,
Twice, I'm not ready. I ain't there yet. Nothing's normal. You know, we get laid off.
So come to find out, the bomber that I designed, they never did that in black on black before. So that was the first time that I did that black stealth bomber with them.
Okay.
And then Sherlin, the waistline is actually called the Greenburgh. You know what I'm saying? Come on, son, done. You know what I mean? The waistline is called the Greenburgh, and the 3/4 is actually called the High View.
That's crazy.
All right.
That's hard. That's GB.
Now I have a
the High View.
I have a what you call it? The female line that's coming.
Okay.
Right now, that's actually
Bogart.
Yeah. It's actually being developed with them, and the female waistline coat is called the Bailey.
That's tough. Shout out to my stepdaughter, man.
And the 3/4 is called the Woodlands.
Yeah, this was Will.
Yeah,
That's you don't even know what you're saying right now. This is my stories. You writing some of my story. I'm just reading. I'm listening, and I'm just like, damn, I've seen this before.
So at the same time of whatever I design, it always has to go back to where I'm from.
Of course.
Because then again, I can't promote, yo, I got a Woodland, boom, and I can't go back to my hood and just chill with my hood, like, you know what I'm saying, or even give back.
That don't make sense.
You understand what I'm saying? So this is my old two still.
Yeah, of course.
You understand what I'm saying?
You gotta respect the land, man.
Yeah,
respect the land
absolutely.
that you walk. If you walk this soil for a certain amount of years, respect it, water it.
Absolutely.
Plant seeds there.
Absolutely.
Help it grow.
So I'm still building that. I'm still building my brand, because when the pandemic hit, it kind of shut everything down for me.
Of course, okay.
There was no filming, there was no production shoots or anything going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not styling and shopping anymore, nor am I really designing. But while everybody's in the crib, every day I'm waking up, reinventing myself every day, trying to figure this out.
Mm-hmm.
I got mortgage, I got car insurance and all that to do and pay for. My wife loves bags and shoes and coats and all that. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had to figure something out. And it was just God's will where I came up and started doing the sweatshirts and the hoodies. By the time I thought about the sweatshirts and the hoodies, it was like 90 degrees out.
Yeah. Unless you're selling the dust heads, man. I don't know.
But God's blessing, my first 5 collections of my hoodies and sweatshirts sold out during the spring and summer.
You got the analytics on that? Where was you selling the most? Like,
online and word of mouth.
Oh, so it's
online and Instagram.
Yeah.
You know
IG is a gold mine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Depending on what you're using it for.
Exactly.
So I was like, oh shoot, okay.
I'm back.
I wasn't even back. I was like, let me figure something out. I was like, okay, let me do some t-shirts. Mm-hmm. By the time I came up with the idea of doing t-shirts, it was 20 degrees out, right?
Yeah.
God sold that collection out for me. I said, God's trying to tell me something. Something's going on here.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying?
You got a gift.
So I was like, look, maybe God is telling me I need to do a brand and apparel collection. And what was the beautiful thing about it is, although everybody was stuck in the crib, it was during this wave of athleisure and everybody was just zooming out. It was zoom, zoom, zoom. You know what I'm saying? So everybody either wanted to wear a hoodie, a sweatshirt. Now it's during around the time of everybody starting to go outside and get their walks in and exercise. So I started doing the leggings for the ladies and the tees, and everybody's riding their bikes. So I started doing the cycling outfits, and I did a bike collaboration with somebody. So I got the Bogart Freewheel bike, 10-speed style bike and all that. So as all of this is going through and everything is just moving 100 miles per hour, I'm like,
what the fuck is going on here?
Pew, 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 pew. And I was like, okay. And thank God, society started opening back up. And I started going back to personal shopping, but now my personal shopping and my personal styling for folks started turning more into custom work now.
I was gonna ask you that, like the process of like when somebody walks in and say, "Listen, Mike, I'm going to the Grammys, make it happen." Like, what's that process? Is that pressure for you? Because it's like
we live for the pressure, bro. You know,
yeah.
You know, pressure makes diamonds.
It do. One thing with the street, it's different. Like, it's different pressures. So, like, you might think, oh, a guy that I'm in the street, I know I can handle anything, and then get in the room with these sharks in the suit and get swatted and get ate up. It's kind of you can translate it, but it's different. It's harder to breathe the higher you get. The altitude it get tough.
Yeah.
So you might think your lungs is.
But I keep my oxygen mask, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
that's what keeps me grounded.
So what's your process too when somebody walks in besides the obvious body structure, or do they have to tell you what idea that they looking for? Because me personally, I'm not super duper fashionable. So if I'm a first time Bogart stylist customer, what would be your process then besides measurements and
well, there's different process depending on the client.
That's science,
right? Now, it not only depending on the client, depending on the project that I'm about to attack, right? The event,
right,
or a project. So you may have people that are able to come in, and I tell them, I need you to get, once they tell me what they're looking for, they're going to be in whatever ambiance they're about to be in, then we figure out what we're going to do in the direction that we're going to go in.
Right.
Now, if you're able to come meet with me or I can meet with you, I need measurements, right?
Yeah, sure.
But once they come and they give me these measurements, then we go get the fabric, then we produce the garment.
Yeah.
After we produce the garment, they come in, we do a fitting. Not all fittings are a perfect fit because different fabrics, when you put the garment together, come together and fit and drape differently on the body.
Okay, of course.
So sometimes the measurements that you took on somebody, and then when you make a leather jacket, or a sweatsuit, it's different from the way you're gonna make a dress suit and a dress shirt.
Oh yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Now, that's for the folks that are able to come in and get measured, and I'm able to do a fitting in person. A lot of calls I get that's out of state.
Yeah, cyber measure.
Not even. I tell them, if you want a sweatsuit, send me your favorite sweatsuit that you love to fit in.
Oh, you're not playing. You eyeballing that work.
So I also tell them to send me a full body picture of what they look like. Yo, have your wife or your girl or whoever, your son or whoever, take a picture of you straight face off, sideways, and from the back. Send me your favorite dress suit or your favorite dress shirt or sweatsuit or coat or whatever the case may be. And I go off of those specs.
That's tough.
You understand what I'm saying?
Not in detail.
So sometimes it still doesn't go accordingly because it's a different fabric that we're working with. So what I do is, sometimes if we have enough time, I tell them to send the garment back to me and then I'll adjust it because I want them to take a picture now of them wearing the garment. You understand what I'm saying? So I know where to do the adjustment. Exactly. So, but sometimes to beat the pressure, depending on what state that person's in, I may already know a tailor, or I might even have another friend of a stylist that's like, yo, do me a favor, yo, you got a tailor in ATL, something for me, or Miami or something for me real quick? Because I'm about to just take a trip out there and maybe they can meet me at boom, 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 and I got budget for them or whatever to compensate them for their time. So a lot of times, I'll just get on a plane and go meet the person. Now I'm not only meeting the person in person, for the first time, they're seeing that I'm taking the initiative and how passionate I am about this particular project, and to make sure it's not just about the bread, but at the same time, it's about your comfortability.
Of course.
You can have a $50,000 jacket on. If it don't fit you right, it just defeats the purpose. You understand what I'm saying? So, or you walking around looking like a robot, it defeats the purpose. So they see that, and then now it turns into other projects. Yeah. Now I got the measurements. You understand what I'm saying? Because the tailor that I had from in that city you know, do me a favor, take their measurements for me real quick. You know what I'm saying? And then they'll give it to me. Now I get to go back to my hood, go back to my operations with guy and boom, 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 and execute whatever next might fall off the back of the truck.
That's
you know what I'm saying?
That's networking right there, ladies and gentlemen. Like, you don't need to go to college. You just get up with Mike B and pay attention, you know, to his moves and see, you know, what's going on. And wow, that's when I see some of these pieces on the internet. I follow, you know, a few different people that you style. You would never be able to tell that a person did not come up in there. That's very, very, very talented, like, to be able to do that. With that being said, top 5 favorite pieces
That I've made?
that you've made. Top 5 in the actual person that you made it for. This might offend your political connects. Yeah, I don't want you to lose no business. I'm pretty sure they all your favorite. We just gonna put that out there.
That's what I'm saying. It's like your kids, bro. Like you love all your kids, but
whoa, and you love all your kids, but we all know who everybody think mommy and daddy's favorite is.
All right.
But for political reasons, I'll let you slide out of that.
I can answer that because
just the piece, not how the person wore it.
Pieces.
Yeah. Like that you had fun making. I'm pretty sure you love all your work.
Certain pieces.
I did that.
But it's crazy because, you know the saying, you're as good as your last job.
Yeah, you transforming shit out here, man.
So,
I see Stefan is Urkel and Stefan. that motherfucking suit, that is Urkel. That shit, yeah, it's that machine. You got the machine. Let me find out. You know, love. I ain't talking about nobody specifically, but
I know what you're saying.
You know, that's what's be going on. Like, it's gonna be Urkel Stefan for me. I'm a simple, plain Jane guy. I'm luckily, you know, I'm kind of handsome.
Top 5, I'll say, like, I did this orange suede motorcycle jacket, right? And what made it crazy why I liked that piece was because it was for Luda. And what made it crazy is because the sizes that I had and the measurements that I had for Chris, it didn't match to what I was seeing. And also still watching him on IG, his workout game is crazy. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, this can't be. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So one trip, he didn't know when he had me come to the crib one time, I just took all his measurements again. You know what I'm saying? And then I also brought a piece back home with me just to make sure it was matching with the measurements that I had took. So by the time I caught up with him, I only had like a 15-minute turnaround to do a complete fitting with him. That's crazy. And it just so happens that the fitting went well. You know what I'm saying? So that's one piece that I loved. I would say another piece that I loved that was challenging was Shotty. Now the reason for Shotty, the reason why I say Shotty because Rashad, a lot of folks don't know, Rashad has, you see him on IG, you like, yo, this kid look like a model. You understand what I'm saying? But Shotty's measurements, a lot of folks don't know, like, one arm is kind of longer than the other. For sure. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So a lot of folks don't know that. So he has to get custom every time. So for a while, it took a minute for us to really nail down what that measurement
work on the sauce in the kitchen.
Because now, as they're becoming bigger and bigger, their traveling becomes more, and now they don't have as much time to come in for these fittings.
Of course.
You understand what I'm saying? So now that I'm starting to get this nailed down perfect, to y'all see it on IG, but y'all have no idea how many times I might have had to fix that one particular shirt for him. You understand what I'm saying? So I would say everything for Shotty is a favorite for me. Mm-hmm. I would definitely say everything for Troy is a favorite for me because Troy, he's structured like a linebacker, right? He's like a running back, but his size fluctuates fast and quick. You know what I'm saying? So he'll be like let's say 180 one week, and then another week he's like 200.
Yeah.
But then he'll go back down to like a 190 or something.
Stay on top of it.
So I have to stay on top of it because so now depending on what I do, I try and give him a little room, a little wiggle room. So then that way, I'd rather something be too big.
So then
that way I can slice it down if it's a little too big. You understand what I'm saying?
Sure.
So and rocking with those two alone is so dope because the creativity and the synergy that we've created amongst each other, we can just bounce flicks off each other now. That's really what we do. We design it off of text now. You know what I'm saying? They'll be in Abu Dhabi somewhere, and I'm in Jamaica, and they're like, yo, Troy be like, yo, I got this idea. I want to do this purple suede thing. I'm like, all right, let's start bouncing some references, some pictures off each other. I get back to New York this such and such a date. All right, he'll be like, yo, I'm back in such and such a day, boom, boom, boom. And we just form like Voltron. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? And we just rock out.
Chemistry is crazy.
Yeah, the chemistry is bananas right now.
Is everything. Yeah.
Kenan Thompson. Everything for Kenan for me is special because just the transition of what I'm doing with Kenan, it's a beautiful project for me because my mission is to get him in GQ magazine. So a lot of styles that you're seeing that I'm doing with Kenan are him hosting award shows. So now that I know he's hosting these award shows, I can't just put him in this typical color tuxedo. You understand what I'm saying? So now, being that his size, you understand what I'm saying? I have to not only pick a color that's gonna complement his size, I also have to pick a color that's gonna complement the TV screen of when you're sitting at home and you're looking at that screen. So now, I don't know if y'all noticed that there's certain things in particular patterns that when certain people wear them on the screen, and when you're at home sitting at the screen, there's a buzz on the screen and it kind of like fucks with your eyes a little bit. You understand what I'm saying? That's because one, some colors you can't do, sometimes you can't do white on television, depending on what the background is. And sometimes you can't do certain plaids and certain pastels and paisleys and patterns and all of that because it starts messing with the person at home. So not only do I have to come with a particular color for Kenan, I have to come with a comfortable color that he's gonna feel comfortable in, a color that's gonna bounce off that TV screen and hit different, a color that's also gonna just murder everything on the red carpet. Anybody that tries to come near him, he's just crushing them like pink cookies in a plastic bag. You understand what I'm saying? So all of that has to come into play, and I'm having fun with this transition right now.
You love this shit.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, nah, it's not work. It's not work. It's not work because I love what I do, but it's
definitely stressful.
No, it's not stressful because I love the pressure of it. And sometimes it may become stressful because these deadlines, so like let's say, most of those fits that you see me doing for Shotty and them, I'm flipping those in like 2-3 day turnaround.
That's in the microwave.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So compared to you going to like a Ralph Lauren or any other bespoke store that does custom, they're taking at least 4, 5, 6 weeks to turn a suit around for you.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And it still might not be right. You understand? So you gotta wait another week. Yeah. You understand? On top of that. Yeah. So because of that, I've spoiled them, or certain clients, they're like, oh, Mike B could do that for me overnight. Yeah, you understand what I'm saying? Right. So now that's where a little stress might come in because I'm like, okay, one, I'm not the only stylist or the only designer that's rocking with Guy, because at the end of the day, this becomes like a factory.
Yeah, of course.
You understand what I'm saying? It's just like you have.
It's right.
Yeah. So
next podcast, we'll get in ready to record.
Right. So it's like you got this one factory in Italy where you got Margiela coming out of the same factory that Dior is coming out of, and then Lanvin's coming out of this factory. So it's like, you're like, okay, I gotta make sure if BET Awards weekend is coming, you know the whole community, the whole hood, the whole culture is coming to us for joints and fits and looks and all that. So my thing is, I gotta hurry up and get to the table before Sugar J does, or before Groove or Rachel or whoever else is like styling and coming through. You got my man Terrell and all that coming through. So I gotta sit with Guy first real quick. Like, yo, son, I need this for such and such real quick. You know what I'm saying? Let me get on the table, boom, boom, boom. And yo, majority of the time, thanks to the Most High, things come out the way that it comes out.
Yeah, Shotty looked like Chris Tucker in Rush Hour 2. When they jumped through the sewer and buttercream. You having Shotty be looking good out here. Detroit too. I'll be like, damn, Chris Tucker over there.
I appreciate that. But
that's crazy.
Also, it's not just me. Now, this is where style comes in. They have style. They got a certain swag.
Of course.
So they know how to carry.
Oh yeah, they Pisces, baby. United States Pisces.
So they know how to carry it and get that off right. You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to where
the town is legendary.
Yeah, and not everybody has this style or this swag in there that we have to carry this off. So and this is where it becomes frustrating, because this is something that can't be taught. You have to be born with this thing. Like,
no preservatives.
I just had this conversation with Mike Wash the other day. Like, it's a certain swag and just that.
I got it. So I know all about it.
Yeah, that
I can't explain it.
That move, like, you know what I'm saying? It's and at the same time, it helps with our vernacular that makes it so spectacular.
It was they had to come get Mike B. I mean, we just know the history of Mike B. It's like, why wouldn't you? You a name, like I said, you a name in an algorithm in itself. As we wrap it up, I want you to go through some of the people you work with that the world know. Just so the world, because the world are trying to play crazy sometimes. So I want for nothing to know. You let them know, just some of the lists you worked with a lot of NBA players, a lot of athletes, a lot of celebrities.
To be honest with you, son,
you don't want to do it?
It's not that I don't want to do it. I want to just explain something so people don't start whatever, back in like the 1800s, tailors and seamstresses never spoke about who their clients were.
Okay, so that's okay.
Because it just kept the mystique.
Fashion Illuminati, y'all.
Yeah, not even just the Illuminati of it. It kept the mystique of the clientele and
culture
for the tailor.
Right.
Because to be honest with you, some folks don't even want people to know they got a stylist. So if you notice, I might post something about somebody, but I don't go into detail and say, yo, this is what I styled. I'll say I made this for this particular person. Yeah. But I'm not going to say, yo, I styled them, I gave them style or whatever the case may be. Yeah.
Disclosure agreements and all that.
So at the same time, it's like, it becomes wordplay for me. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I still have a brand.
Then it's like, right.
I have a brand to promote, but I still want that person to feel the way they feel when they step onto that red carpet. You know what I'm saying?
I get on that red carpet, I'm shot. I got a stylist, y'all. I ain't even gonna hold you. I'm not with none of that.
No, but you have some.
I'm transparency is key to sanity, man. You can't be having too much shit to hide.
Nah, but you do have some clients that'll say, yo, shout out to my stylist Mike B. Like,
okay,
that's the ones that I named, they'll do that for me. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Because some clients become family. You know what I mean?
Of course.
And that too is like a gift and a curse. I'll go into that too. But I've been blessed through the 25, 30 years that I've been doing this. I've been blessed to work with the likes of, you know, the LeBrons, the Chris Browns, the D Wades, the
LeBron
Swizz
James,
Beats,
man.
the Alicia Keys, and the Lauren Hills, and no, I didn't.
Chris Brown,
I
I
held
see.
with Lauren. I didn't stop.
Oh,
Lauren.
matter of fact, I can't
Yeah.
name. I'm gonna let you
But-
name
But you know, the Nas's, the Jays, I've been
it. That's tough.
blessed to work around, work with, and do certain projects with them. Damon Marley, Shaggy is also.
It wasn't me?
It wasn't me,
Damn.
but it was me.
But it was you. That's the title. It wasn't me.
So, you know, but yeah, man, I just say peanut butter and jelly is good. God is great, bro.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And he's just been really great to me. And that's why I feel so grateful and blessed. And, you know, I give all my thanks and praises to the Most High, man.
As you should.
You know,
Future plans for Bogart. What's next?
future plans for Bogart? Well,
Secrets? You don't really
yeah,
wanna-
there's one thing I don't want to. I can't talk about. I'm not at I can't speak on that right now,
Okay.
but it's like right there.
We'll see it.
But what I will say for the brand itself is I want to turn it into a haberdashery, like a house of Bogart, like a maison of Bogart, and to where that's like a one-stop shop for, it's like a concierge of style, where you come, you can get styled, you can also see pieces, you can buy a few pieces right there off the rack,
Yeah.
or you can come and do custom made stuff and you're not waiting 4, 5, 6 weeks for something, and we can flip something in a matter of time for you. But then it's also extends into,
You don't really
yeah,
wanna-
there's one thing I don't want to, I can't talk about. I'm not at I can't speak on that right now,
Okay.
but it's like right there.
We'll see it.
But what I will say for the brand itself is I want to turn it into a haberdashery, like a house of Bogart, like a maison of Bogart, and to where that's like a one-stop shop for, it's like a concierge of style, where you come, you can get styled, you can also see pieces, you can buy a few pieces right there off the rack,
Yeah.
or you can come and do custom made stuff and you're not waiting 4, 5, 6 weeks for something, and we can flip something in a matter of time for you. But then it's also extends into, you know, educating, where, you know, I've created like 2 different curriculums. That's been my hustle lately, where I've been selling curriculums, not selling curriculums, but pretty much teaching my information and giving the game, you know what I'm
Right.
saying?
Okay.
Which is called Swaganomics 101.
Swaganomics 101. A lot of y'all need to enroll.
So-
A lot of y'all.
So I've been teaching at FIT. I've also been teaching. I've been teaching down at the center.
Shout
I
out to
was doing
Swaganomics.
Zooms actually during the pandemic
That's tough.
for the center. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So
Yeah, I was
I was
healing
doing-
most of the pandemic.
Yeah. We all were healing, brother.
Man,
We all were healing.
I took your healing. Well, you know, we
We
can't
were
really
all
say.
healing. We're still healing to
Because
this day.
a splinter for me might be a gunshot wound. You can't tell nobody how to breathe and grieve and heal. Everybody
Nah.
takes things differently.
I'll tell you right now, I suffer from depression.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah. I
And-
think we all have to a certain degree.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've also learned that I'm also like on a low spectrum of autism as well, too. Like,
That's probably why,
So-
in order to make them pieces, you kind of got to be a little off. To
yeah,
style some of the people that you style and to make it, like the transformation is crazy. So it's like you can't be, I don't think you could be too normal.
nah. But I've come to terms with that, because
Accountability
that's
and
what's
growth.
making me a better man today than I was yesterday.
Yeah.
And you know, I know I got some shit with me that
You
you know what I
some
mean?
good shit, some bad.
Yeah.
Listen, when you know who you are, they can't tell you who you're not.
But I'm dealing with it.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm
Absolutely.
saying?
They'll use it against you if you don't. So tell it to yourself.
Right.
They're gonna tell it to you. The world gonna tell you.
Absolutely.
Good, bad,
Absolutely.
ugly, right, wrong, true, false. The world's gonna tell you everything.
Yes, sir. So,
I appreciate
you know,
that. Yeah.
I'm just
You just might be, man.
Just striving, bro.
Striving. To shout out to Ratchet, man. See, I'm pretty sure you probably been using that word since the 90s, but you know, that's GBA boys. You know, we coming. We on y'all heels.
Shout out to Taylor's brand too, by the way.
Shout out to Taylor's brand.
Yo, let me tell you. Hold on real quick, man. While I'm here, I want to give y'all
Dark-skinned brothers, man.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Because y'all, I'm gonna say y'all. You two may not hear it often. I'm proud of Just too.
We all play the part.
And I know where we all know where we from, but I know what y'all's trials and tribulations have been. I know the crossroads that y'all came across, but to see y'all flourish and evolve into what y'all are doing right now, bro, with this entrepreneurship, man, listen, I'm proud of y'all. I'm happy for y'all. I love y'all for free. You understand what I'm saying? And if there's anything that I could do to help y'all move forward, B, I'm here. Y'all got my numbers. I'm only 10 numbers away from y'all. You understand what I'm saying?
Appreciate you.
And yo, bro, just, you know, closed mouth don't get fed.
Absolutely.
If I can't do it right then and there,
just say that.
at least I can give y'all some type of direction.
Normalize asking for help. So
but at the same time, y'all know y'all got Mike B, bro. And I'm here for it. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, we gonna bring Mike B.
And I thank y'all for even having me on your radar to be a part of this.
Having you on the radar. You was already who you was, and we was trying to figure out who he was.
I appreciate that.
You know, guys like you in the community, I love stuff like this because these my legends. My legends list is a little bit different.
No, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
But it's about the humility.
Of course.
My pops used to always tell me, stay grounded. The humblest calf sucks the most milk.
Yeah.
You understand?
I don't like the way that sounds, but it's true though.
Yo, pause, whatever y'all want to call it.
I told you, I'm learning.
The calf sucks, the humblest calf sucks the most milk.
I hear you.
Baby cow is a calf.
No. I know exactly what you said. You know, I'm just still born in 1989, so sometimes I'm mature, sometimes I'm not. Like, you know, something like that.
But look, you also a grown man though.
I am.
So a grown man don't have to deal with all that pause, stop and go.
You're right.
Like, hey, yo.
Who told us? Jadakiss told us that, like, you know, we don't gotta say pause.
Come on,
I know. I'm trying.
No, I get
accountability. I'm not there yet.
I get it.
I started off. I'm doing.
But it was a fun game, though.
It was.
You know what I'm saying?
That game pause. You know.
But look what No Homo brought homeboy. That cost him $40K.
Oh yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So I mean, right now we in a society where we not getting away with. There's certain things we can't get away with.
This is what I need up for.
So we have to mature ourselves into changing our vernacular. You understand what I'm saying? Our vocabulary and the way we speak and still have that mindset.
Because you didn't say nothing wrong.
But still have the mindset to know, like, yo, bro, we talking B.I.
You're right.
Iron sharpens iron, one grown man to another. You know what I'm saying?
It really upped the nephew. I'm just having fun. Y'all saw Lion King.
That's what it's about.
Jump on Mufasa and smack us.
That's what it's about.
I had to do that. Episode 14. We're going to bring Mike back up.
Man.
We not done, you know, with Mike. We not done with Mike. We're going to get Mike back up here. He gave y'all a lot of jewels. Shout out to GBA. Shout out to my team, Greenleaf. Everything organic. I'm loving the progress, the growth. I'm going to leave our community with this, man.
Wait, hold on. Shout out to Curl Fest.
What's that?
Curl Fest is Simone and
Saffron.
On Greenburgh.
Especially Saf.
You understand what I'm saying?
Greenburgh, New York.
Shout out to Curl Fest because those young ladies are doing their thing. Their entrepreneurship, that like just that whole that whole monster of what their festival has evolved into. I feel like they don't get enough light shined on them for that. Like, you know,
that's what this platform is in.
Yeah, so I wanted to get that off real quick before we close out.
Of course.
You know what I mean? If we're going to shout out Greenburgh, let's do it.
Okay, so let's shout out Greenburgh. First and foremost, let's shout out GBA, man. Like I always tell y'all.
Fringy.
Yeah, shout out to Fringy, because before GBA was who GBA is, you had guys like Mike and Benji and Frankie, and I'll be here naming the whole town, but you know, shout out to the town, big Greenburgh energy, Greenburgh the big one. You know, we making a lot of moves.
That Central 7 flow, kid.
Central 7, Fairview, all of them, 10603, 10607, the whole town right now is firing on all cylinders, because in order to push our culture forward, everybody got to do their part. So you might have EYL, you know, the stuff that they saying, guys who I know might not be able to understand that. They might not be able to translate that, but now they might be able to understand me. I can understand them. I understand you. I'm multi-dimensional. Everybody don't have that. So everybody do their part, and we all can reach somebody. And that's how you keep the machine in motion. It's not one engine that's going to get the car running. You need the wheels. You need to, like, everything, you know, is going to flow and sync, and we all on one accord. I got you here. I got one of the other big young guys in the town coming. I'm not going to put his name out there. And it's just full circle. So, I forgot what the fuck I was about to say. But shout out to Uncle Mike, man. I'm happy to have had him here. It's one of my legends. He should be one of yours, and we're going to keep it going. So we're going to definitely get him back up here. I'm going to let him, you know, give his final words, his shout-outs, his messages, what he want to tell the coach. What you want to tell these fashion people, man?
Shout out to my brothers and my sister.
Yeah.
Twins. Paul and Greg.
We're going to get into Greg next time. I ain't even give y'all nothing on Greg.
And you know, family, bro. Mm-hmm. Fam first.
Yeah.
That's really
in most cases, though. Because family can just be a word. The only thing that separates family from foe is
but sometimes family don't even have to be blood.
There you
know
go.
What I'm saying?
That's what I wanted to hear. Yeah. I wanted you to say it, though. So I always say it.
Fam first, and you know, that's really the foundation. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And you gotta have foundation.
Yeah, sturdy.
And stay humble with it. Because even a giant, when a giant can look in the mirror and see nothing,
that's deep.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Mental fitness.
Yeah, man. Can't stand alone when you're trying to fit in, B.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Money Mike. Listen, Novelist Normal Podcast, episode 14.
14, kid.
Legendary. Love, huh? I appreciate you.
I appreciate you too, B.
Yo,
you already know.
You gave me the exclusive, man.